Hello and welcome back to Perspective. My name is Kate Kendi Wanjiku and I am the daughter.
Hi guys, I am Judy Njogu and I am the mother.
We are starting off by, of course, apologizing. It's been a couple of months since we did our last episode, and don't worry, we have reasons. Mom, could you please tell us why have you not availed yourself for an episode for all these months?
I have availed myself. It's only that the last episode we shot, Kate thought I was looking like I was being forced, which is not. I was just in a funny mood. And I think we should continue filming even if I'm in a funny mood because it just shows I'm human. Maybe I have issues I'm dealing with and I don't have to tell Kate. But they show. But that is life and no one is perfect. But life must go on because we have a lot of content. I believe we should continue filming.
That is your excuse.
There's no excuse. I'm stating facts. And it's not a fight. So calm down. What do you have to say?
For me, I have a couple of reasons. Number one, I'll even start from what Mom has said. From our last episode, I did not like, leave alone how she looked, and also somebody else commented. It was not just me. We have moved houses, or rather I have moved houses and we film in my house, and I was not sure of how I wanted the set to look like in a way. I did not like how it looked, and in the back of my head I was like, I know I'm going to improve. I'm going to get maybe another chair. We need to set up different things, but I have not fully settled. So that is one of the reasons. And for Mom, I think for me, I noticed that she didn't look okay during that episode. And for somebody else to notice this, and I was like, oh, it's not just in my head. So I was just like, let me just give it a break. We'll only film when she wants to, because this is not the first time I've done like content in a way with somebody, and I don't want it to go the same way. I am learning, from my past mistakes. The last time I did content with somebody, I found myself pushing too much, or rather leading the pack, and it became very exhausting. And you could just see when we were filming the content that one of us did not want to be there. So I did not want to repeat that mistake again. I also felt like I was projecting a lot in the past episodes. There's a situation that I went through and I found myself speaking about it a lot and always trying to divert my attention or divert like a topic to that situation that I was going through. And I was like, hey, this is not looking great. I was in the process of healing, and I was getting triggered by some things and trying to address some things and trying to open up, and not in the right way. So I decided, you know what? I need some time to sort through that. I don't know if you noticed. Did you notice?
Do you think you've healed or you're still
I
in the
think
process?
healing is a journey. You never just fully heal. Something might happen and trigger you, but I'm definitely in a better place. It's not something I feel the need to speak about. When something happens to you and you're not over it yet, you'll find yourself bringing it up
all the time
and over again. But did you notice?
Yeah, a bit.
You noticed?
Yeah. And it's not that I don't expect it to crop up at some point, but you should if you really have to. It's just that maybe if we are in this podcast and you talk a lot about it, maybe myself and Hilary would be able to tell you like, hey, like relax.
Yeah.
But you should not feel like you don't really have to talk about it, because it's your journey, it's your experience, and you have to express how you're feeling. So you should not feel like
I need to put it in the back.
Yeah.
But
Let it flow. But if it's too much, maybe we will stop and then we discuss it.
No, I felt like
off
it was
camera.
I was definitely projecting.
Yeah.
And I felt like it wasn't fitting what I really wanted to speak and what I want the platform to be.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not only the podcast that I'd put in the back burner, even with my content. For my platform specifically, I've not been creating as much as I'd want to with everything that's going on in the world. Every time I enter social media platforms, it feels heavy.
Negative.
It feels too heavy, and I feel like just me posting is so out of touch. In short, with everything happening in Gaza, Sudan, and Congo, it's just been heavy on me personally. I interact with a lot of content on what's going there, and just seeing that nothing is being done is scary, because that could be us as a country being affected, and clearly we can see no one is going to be there to help us, and it's just very scary. So those were the reasons. But now, like I said, I feel so much better. We've brought on a producer who's going to be helping us with our topic, so we can give you guys a better perspective and a more learned view on certain
Issues.
topics. Yeah. Yeah, but we're back. And going forward, we'll also be having guests on certain segments. If you really want to tell us your story, we'd really love to have you here with us. We'll be filming those episodes in a studio, and we also have the option of doing it anonymously. So if you have the story to tell us, you can reach out to us through our email, which we will link it down in the description. Wherever you are listening or watching us from, in the description there's our email. You can reach out to us, tell us you'd want to be in one of the episodes. So for it to be anonymous, we will just we'll just record your sound. Basically, we'll record your whole story. We can change your name to make you more comfortable, because we are aware that speaking about, motherhood or being a child, it can be very triggering for other people. So we know we'll have that option. Yeah, so those are the updates. We hope we'll be more consistent going forward. But just the other day, it was Mother's Day, literally. I feel like Mother's Day should be every day. What do you think of Mother's Day, ma'am?
I think it's different for everybody, because some people, like today, I found my mom has sent me a message, and I'm like, oh my God, I didn't send my mom. Yet everybody else was sending their moms messages saying, oh wow, my mom, my hero, my everything. But I also feel that those people who are not able to say nice things or anything about their parents, the ones whose parents have passed on, it's a bit hard for them. The ones who are being raised by men also, their kids, they're like, okay, how do I go about this? So it's different for everybody. But for me, it's just a little reminder that I am a mom, and it's a blessing, because motherhood comes with a lot. For me, it's there's tears, there's joy, there's worrying, there is happiness. It's mixed emotions, but all of it, when it's put together, that is what motherhood is. And for me, mostly, it's I continue saying it's a blessing for me. I know there are people who don't want to have kids, which is okay. And I know there are those people who have gotten kids without wanting. And there are those people who have kids because they wanted. There are those kids who are planned and others not planned. But for me, as Judy, motherhood is a blessing. It's a blessing, like there's no other name I can use for it. So, yeah.
For me, I think I'm not a mom, but I do have a view on motherhood. But I think the whole Mother's Day thing, I like it. I like it, but I feel like it should be almost like not a different day in a mother's life. I feel like we should be appreciating our moms so frequently that it just feels like, oh, it's Mother's Day. It's Mother's Day today. They should always like feel loved, just like the way we talk about Valentine's Day. It's just a day of, showing off the person, but behind the scenes or the other days, you're always, loving them. It's just like a cherry on top. It should be a cherry on top. It should not be the day that you decide to go all out. Alafu hizo siku zingine, you don't even look for your mom. You don't message your mom. You don't know how they are doing and all that. That's what I feel about the day. Not that it should be scrapped off, but I also feel like mom has said, Mother's Day can be very triggering for many people. For me, honestly, Mother's Day, I'm just like, yeah, it's Mother's Day. Of course, I always show off my mom. For me, I'm always like, oh, my mom, my mom, my mom. So I'm sure some people are probably even tired of seeing me showing off my mom, my mom, my mom. So it was a bit triggering though, because I kept thinking of, the mothers that are in Gaza, the mothers that are in Congo, the mothers that are in Sudan. They're literally seeing their children dying, losing their children consistently. And even just other mothers, they're just dying. They're not being taken care of. And this Mother's Day must have been horrendous. They probably were not even aware that it was Mother's Day. So it was triggering for me in that way. But it also reminded me that I am blessed to have, such a mom, because even on Twitter, you can see people saying, oh, Mother's Day just reminded me of how bad my relationship with my mommy is. I can't reach out to her. I can't say anything to her. Or it reminded me of all like the mothers who've lost their children. They have no one to tell them Happy Mother's Day. Or for the children who lost their moms, they don't have anyone to say, Happy Mother's Day. So it's really so interesting how something you view as something so beautiful can be something so traumatic for somebody else. But either way, Of course, we were there, me and Ryan. Ryan, I don't know where he even got mom's pictures to wish her happy Mother's Day, even though she's blocked. But I'm sure she saw the happy Mother's Day. Were you expecting
I
that
saw
from
it. Yeah, that
Ryan?
was really nice. And it was, considering how disconnected I feel he is since now he's become a teen and he feels he's grown up. That was really nice and touching. And I was like, wow, okay. Thank you. Yeah.
He loves you, mom. He's just
Yeah, I know he does. It's just the age. I've already, as I keep telling people, I'm very intentional about motherhood. So I'm trying to like find all the information I can about my son at the age he is. And apparently how he's behaving is normal. It's not out of this world, because I was like, he's not lovey-dovey. He doesn't want to be hugged. He doesn't want to be seen. He just wants to be in his room. He doesn't want me to enter his room. I thought that was like rejection, but it's the age that he is in. And I appreciate that. And I'm giving him his space. And that is what motherhood is about. Trying to figure out, why is your child behaving this way? Are the other children behaving the same way? And is this weird or is it normal? Yeah. And yeah, try to learn as much as you can about motherhood, just like you'd learn about anything else. If you're a mom, please try to find out about your children and their age and how they behave, and this generation, how it's behaving, because our generation is different from this generation that is here now. Yeah, so just learn as much as you can, so that you don't feel maybe like you're not doing the correct thing, or you're overdoing, or you've left your children alone. Yeah, just ongea na wamama wenzako.
the thing of meeting other mothers. I didn't think it was that big of a deal or essential, but when we went for an event the other day with mom, which was for Mother's Day, and just seeing mothers being around each other and you guys like connecting on just motherhood and how different it is.
It's crazy.
It's very different and it's still the same thing.
Yeah.
It was very interesting to see. So yeah, I think mothers should also be having time with other mothers. I think it's like a very
just
nice
a discussion and
community.
see what's happening.
Yeah.
Especially if your children are the same age, because how I was able to connect with Wangari is because I'm talking about my son, and I'm like, this is the first time I've let him go alone, and he's at Sarit Center with his friends, and she's like, oh my God, even mine is in Sarit, and I'm like, oh, so this is just normal.
It's a thing. It's very interesting. Sarit is kind of becoming what it was a long time ago. The time the hype for Sarit had died down, but these days that's why all the teenagers, want to meet.
Yeah.
And just roam around. Some just roam around, and I'm like, okay, if that's your thing, then that's your thing. For me, Mother's Day makes me think about motherhood a lot. Of course, like I said, I'm not a mom yet. Maybe, not sure, but motherhood for me is basically what it means for my mom, because she's the only person who I've been around who is a mother. Basically, I've seen you raise Ryan, and of course I have my own experience as a child. And of course, the biggest thing about motherhood is the love. I feel like the love is unconditional, although for some parents it's not unconditional. There's a condition. You must do well in school. You must be healthy. You must be, there are some conditions for some parents, but for my mom, it's like unconditional love, which I feel like it would be a great thing to experience, maybe. I don't want to think this means I want to be a mother yet. For me, it also means sacrifice. I think I've seen mom sacrifice a lot. And now that I'm a certain age, I can also tell what she has sacrificed in order to be a mom. Because the things that me nimekuwa nikifanya, mom was not able to do that because, of course, she had me. And that is a lot of sacrifice to decide to, I'm now grown. I need to take care of my child. And then it also means happiness. I think just mom, when she receives a message from Ryan, I see how she reacts. Or when you hug him, I see how it affects your mood. Or if I get to see you, I see how it affects your mood. Like you become happy. Your whole mood changes. I'm just like, one person can bring such happiness into your life like that. It also means expenses and stress. Yeah.
Yesterday I just swapped my card and I was like,
for Ryan's school.
And I just did shh. And then on top of it is like, oh, we need you money for what?
Yeah.
You have to pay this. And I'm thinking, in a day,
Even I think even bringing Ryan, like when you gave birth to Ryan, your hospital bill just
My
from
hospital bill was 280,000 because he was emergency cesarean.
na nikuzaa tu. That's just giving
Just
birth. All these years until now, I don't even want to know how much you spent, or if even your child gets sick, the stress that mom has. And I think that's the scariest part for me about motherhood is when your child gets sick, because as a parent, you know, you want to make sure your child is okay. But you know, they have maybe a disease, but you don't know how to stop it. You want your child to feel better. You don't want them to hurt and just be okay. So that stress is
that
scary.
feeling of helplessness.
Yeah.
Because when your child is unwell and you don't know how to treat them and there's nothing you can do, you can't even take away their pain, that helplessness feeling is the worst, actually.
It is. Yeah, that's scary. And I think also the worry. I feel like, mom, you worry about us a lot, how we are doing. Like,
As it should be, as a parent, you're just like, are they fine? Even if they're fine, are they really fine?
yeah, I feel like even just letting Ryan go to science center, that was a big leap for you.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you don't want him to have fun. I feel like for most of us children, we think our parents don't want us to have fun, but it's not that. It's just that they're worried. Is there enough security? Will you be okay by yourself? Who are you interacting with? Are they going to, you know, affect you in any bad way? Like, there's so much worry that I don't know if personally I can handle.
It's really worrying. Just the other day, I saw a girl who was killed because of 20K. Like, it was the ransom. A young girl, and I was like, what? What are the parents going through? So it's really scary being a parent. Actually, it is. Especially when your kids are out there and then they have to go to university and they're by themselves and you're thinking, what? And that's why I could not let Kate go to the boarding school even in US. I was just like, you know what?
I want you home.
We're buying this car. So that I make sure every day you're home. So even if you're going to be away for long hours, I have to see you every day and just look at you and I'm like, you're fine.
Yeah, I see your well-being myself.
Yeah. I want to see it in person. I don't want
I'm
video
doing
calls.
well, Mom.
I don't want lip service. No. Has to be physical. Yeah.
Yeah, I that's
Because it's scary.
Yeah, the worry part really also freaks me out about motherhood, because I feel like I'm a very paranoid person, and I'm a person who's always thinking of the worst outcome of something. I never think of the positive, and I think we even had a discussion about this.
Yeah, Kate is a person of half that thing about glass. How she's always like, it's empty.
Yeah.
It's half empty. And me, I'm like, there's water.
half full. There's some water. Yeah, Mimi,
and it's
there's-
half. Make use of that water. It
Yeah.
could be worse, you know. And she's like, no. Hey, me, I think I'm not a pessimist.
You're not a pessimist. You're an optimist.
Yeah.
Optimistic person. So you see, now imagine I have a child. Of course, I'll be thinking about the worst things, but I'm in the process of, changing that. And then I also feel like motherhood has a lot of pain and heartbreak, especially for mothers who lose their children.
Yeah.
Like having to bury your child. I can't even imagine how bad it is. And every time
That's unimaginable.
every time we have this discussion with mom, her face just changes. It becomes
Yeah, I'm just like, what?
she becomes like, so there's sadness all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how.
I feel sad for even friends who've lost their children.
Yeah.
It is like there's nothing you can tell them.
And there's nothing you can tell. I don't think we can.
Yeah.
Anyone can know the pain
The
other than
inconsolable.
a mother who's lost a child, and that's I do not want to experience such heartbreak. And also even just some things we do as children that we're not aware of that could be hurting our parents. Just, of course, we know relationships with parents can be very difficult, but I feel like some children just decide never to speak to their parents. Once they leave, it's like they've left completely, and their parents probably doesn't even know why this has happened. That's why I always say communication is very important. You need to, if you feel like your relationship with your parent is so bad, but now you're an adult, there's a chance for you to try
do something about
to
it.
do something about it. So I can't imagine, as a mom, you've poured all your love, all your money, all your time to your children, and then once they grow up, of course, yes, they have their own lives, but they completely sideline you. I will not, like, your children are there, like, and it's like they're not there.
Yeah.
You know, like I know we've spoken about, black tax and all that, but sometimes it's not even about the money. It's just about your presence. Like my mom's always like, ha uko, mbona hujaniona? Kwani
Like, I want to see
ujenda?
your face.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
know, like sometimes I will just offer my presence to my mom because she just wants me around. She just wants to see how I'm doing, to know, how I am. Like small gestures you can do for your parents. It's a scary thing
It's very scary.
for me to enter into motherhood knowing that there's that possibility that my child might decide never to speak to me again. My child might not see that I'm struggling and try to help me in any way, not even financially, just even emotionally, or some certain tasks, or me not being aware of how you're getting older and you need some things done.
You reminded me, you've taken me back to that story of the mom who was found, I don't know how many months
Yes.
dead.
Yeah.
Even her cats.
Like even the place had overgrown.
Yeah.
So you see, like that.
Like nobody's checking up on them.
That is
That's
scary.
crazy.
That scares me about motherhood. And I know some mothers who have good relationship with their children, but their children are still not doing enough. I feel like we all know our parents and we know ways that we can make them happy. That doesn't have to be very taxing. It just takes a small part of you to just, be like, oh, mom, I love you. Not only just on, Mother's Day, ndio unakuja hapo kuwavadu. I need to feel
True.
that my children are there. Another thing that scares me about motherhood is the judgment of how you raise your child.
Yeah, there's a lot of judgment.
Everyone wants to judge
Especially if
them.
you're a single mom. So the girl was saying, ati unaona shida ya nini watoto wamebringiwa hapo na wamama. Kwa alisema na Kikuyu, unaona thina wa ciana cirererwo ni atumia. And I'm thinking, I had so many questions.
You see that, even leave alone. Even,
Judgment. You've not even met Ryan.
Yeah. You don't know how he is.
You don't know how he behaves. You
Yeah.
don't know how he carries himself. And then you're there just judging his like,
You've raised your son.
Ati the way that boy is raised should have been raised by a man. You raise yours.
Even other women judging other women on their
that
parenting.
one.
That is, I'm just usually on TikTok, somebody will post how they've taken care of their child. Somebody will come there, this is wrong. How dare you do that? Do you know you can cause this and this?
Sweater.
Excuse me.
Underpata pneumonia.
I don't want to be judged for how, I'm raising my child because it's my child. I'm raising the best way I know.
But people will still judge you.
There's always, which is...
Even me and you, that so many people have come to my DMs, they're like, oh, you shall never be friends with your children, do you what? And I'm like, well, wako, please, leave me alone. I'm not telling you to do what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you this is what I'm doing. So, chukua ama uache.
So imagine that's how I'm viewing motherhood for now. But it's not as scary as it was before. Like, right now I'm thinking maybe when I'm in my 30s, my mid-30s, I can actually become a mom because I've healed myself. I've gone through therapy, and I've seen how you are as a mother, and it makes me want to. Maybe I can. Maybe things I can.
There's a light at the end. Silver lining.
Even with all that, there's a silver lining because I feel like mothers are so great. Like you guys are so great.
Mothers are awesome, actually.
As children, we should try our best to be there for our parents in the best way that we can. Our mothers have been through a lot, even just from giving birth, taking care of us. Yes, that's their responsibility, but even for us, it's our responsibility to love and, take care of our parents one way or another. So as children, let's look within ourselves. Even if you feel like your relationship is in the ghetto, you can just try. Just give it another chance. Let's appreciate and love our mothers, and let Mother's Day just be like, oh, and just like a cherry on top. Let it not be the whole cake that you're giving on that particular
Build
day.
on the cake throughout, and then that is like...
Yes.
I appreciate all the moms, especially the ones who meet me and they're like, oh my God, I watch you and Kate and you inspire me. Oh, I'm looking forward to being a mom. I hope my relationship with my children will be like yours. Oh, I'm struggling with my relationship with my parents, but you give me hope. I really, really, really appreciate each and every one of you. Those who stop me and they're like, oh my God, I've gotten something from your relationship with Kate. I've gotten hope from your relationship with Kate. I really, really appreciate all of you, whether you're a mom, looking to be a mom, has been a mom, and things happen. I really appreciate you. Thank you.
And that's it from us for this episode. I hope you have enjoyed it. I'd really like to know what you think of motherhood as a mom, what it means for you, and as a child who's looking maybe into motherhood. How do you view motherhood? I hope from this episode, you'll send your mom a message or go visit them or make an effort to repair your relationship. Our mothers are great figures. Okay, let's love, appreciate them, and take care of them in any way that we can. And finally, don't forget to send us an email if you'd be interested in sharing your story or appearing in any of our episodes. And also, please don't forget to mention whether you'd want to be seen or you'd want it anonymous. We will cater to all of you guys, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.